Hi, this is Wishop, and this is your weekly reading for Monday, May 4th through Sunday, May 10th. So, getting to the astrology quickly, we just had the full moon in Scorpio, which was May 3rd. That was yesterday. Excuse me, it happens all the time. I don't have a feeling that my throat's clogged up until I start talking, and then I've got junk in it, so I apologize. The full moon is in Scorpio, and actually the moon is still in Scorpio, but the full moon there, a lot of times people talk about that as a good time for releasing things. As the moon reaches its fullness, it's a good time to let go. We've been doing sort of spring cleaning anyway. Scorpio deals with very deep issues of life, intense, love, sex, death, heavy stuff. And you may have been dealing with that and reevaluating what you think about certain areas in your life. And now are feeling that the time is right to let go of some of those perceptions you had about what was important to you as you've reprioritized. You may just be getting rid of things. You may have things in your closet or in your home. You may be changing jobs. There may be people in your life that don't really have as close a place for you as they used to. So that can all be full moon type stuff. And we'll still kind of be working with that. But there's an awful lot going on that's new. So let me get to that. The big astrological change is that Venus will move into Cancer on Thursday. And Venus loves Cancer because Cancer is a very nurturing, watery sign. Venus adores that. And it will get her out of chatty Gemini, which can even be a little gossipy at times, and get into a very nurturing, very loving place for Venus to be. So this can be about your home, which you may have been cleaning stuff out of. It can be about your inner circle, which you may have been cleaning things out of. It's going to be about your values. You may have been cleaning the stuff out of your own head. So this is all about getting that that close environment that you're in to feel welcoming and nurturing to you. So whatever that close environment is, your home, your inner circle, your job, your organizations, your family, it's going to be about beautifying those areas and making sure they feel nurturing. And that may mean that there's just some stuff that there isn't a good place for anymore. But as I said, there's a lot of new stuff coming in, and the I Ching really reinforces that. I got thunder over fire this week, so you can see the symbol there. 55, abundance. 5 is a number of change. It can be conflict, but it's always change. And with double fives, we've just got a lot going on. And so abundance, you can read this as plenty, profusion, generosity, fertility, ripeness, inner riches, which I think is a big focus point, reaping rewards, culmination, and harvest. And if we look here, there is a lot going on in this picture, right? You can see this face is sort of surrounded with these swoops and swooshes of color that look like flowers and plants and shoots everywhere. But the deal is this face looks very happy. Sorry for the passing trucks. Boy, is that loud. There's a lot happening around here too, let me be honest, in my own personal neighborhood. Anyway, but this person looks very happy. There's a lot going on, but it can be handled. And so I think that's kind of what's happening. There's going to be a lot going on, and there's going to be a desire to feel secure about that, to feel well grounded amid all the activity and change. So let me go on to the random tarot cards for the week. Like last week, I decided to choose 3 crystals to put in front of them, partially because I just need to hold them up. But I chose ones that I thought would be very grounding. This is a moki ball, and it's a kind of sort of compressed sandstone or ironstone. It's got iron elements in it, and it compresses under pressure into this beautiful little circular ball. They're known to be very protective, very grounding. They are said to help balance the energy, the male and female, the yin and yang, because you can see they sort of have two halves and this little equator running through it. So that's one crystal. This is Preseli bluestone, which is the same kind of stone that Stonehenge is made of. So this is obviously, again, very grounding, but it's, to me, this stone speaks of persistence, something that's going to last the test of time. The next stone we have is jet, which is a form of organic charcoal. It's made basically from fossilized driftwood. And I think of jet as one of the kindest stones. People know it for grieving, but it's also quite useful for pain relief and for taking the edge off of anxious feelings. It's a very gentling kind of stone, so very calming when you're feeling sort of disrupted. So I chose these because I think mochi is great when you have to deal with a lot of pressure. So if you're feeling pressure, I think Preseli bluestone is fabulous if you're trying to endure and stay strong through trying times. And I think jet is wonderful when you're trying to get through what you have to get through, but you just need a little bit of the sharp edge taken off. Just a little bit more kindness on the way as you go. So those are what the stones are, and you can sort of make of that what you will. But let's turn over the cards for the week. This is the Reflections Tarot. It's a Lo Scarabeo deck by Francesco Ciampi. Oh, hello, Queen of Swords. And let's see, this is going to be tricky. I can just tell already. Come on. How long will it take me to turn one card? Here we go, Six of Pentacles. Okay, let me get the last one here. Oh. Temperance, okay. Our old pal Temperance. Okay, so the Queen of Swords is a very decisive character. And in this deck, you can see how really decisive she is. I mean, she is armored up, and she's got this amazing tall green hair. And she doesn't look like someone that you want to mess with. And I think the deal is here that you're not going to want to dominate other people, but while you are dealing with all these different things, you're going to need to be decisive, and you're going to need to be comfortable in that decisiveness. Chances are you're going to have to say yes to some things and no to some other things, and you're going to need to just cut through those fairly quickly and decisively, but with a lot of confidence in your own opinions. Just trust yourself to make the right decision. You know, this abundance card, there are a lot of options in front of you, and you may not have time to give them all the really careful thinking through that you ordinarily would. You're going to kind of have to be a little more off the cuff, and this is where feeling the wisdom and the command of the Queen of Swords, who's been through a lot. She's been through a lot of battles. She has a lot of experience, and she trusts her judgment. So I think it's going to be a week where you're going to need to trust yours. The Six of Pentacles, again, speaks of that balance. A lot of times here we talk about the balance between giving and receiving. And because this is the Tarot of Reflections, you can see that the man giving with the scale is basically the twin of the man receiving. So sometimes and see, here's the hat being reflected here. So sometimes you're giving and sometimes you're receiving. And of course, this card asks you to be balanced about that. Sometimes try to help people in whatever way you can, but sometimes you're going to need to ask for help, and especially if you're really busy. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and just do a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? You're going to have to work the balance a little bit. And of course, here's Temperance again, just emphasizing that. Because this isn't just a balance. This Six of Pentacles talks about the balance in the external world, but when we see the Temperance card, we're really talking about an internal spiritual balance too. We're talking about a situation in which you have to step forward and believe that you have the spiritual understanding to keep one foot on the ground and one foot in the water, right? To keep the yin and yang balanced. And so I think just know that you're doing okay. You're doing all right. And even though things may be happening quickly and you're not going to have time to do all the kind of mulling over that you might want to do, or you might be feeling indecisive, and so you might be unready to make some of these decisions, but you're going to kind of need to make them, and you should trust yourself because you're going to do fine. Just lean on what you've learned about yourself through everything that people have been going through in the last certainly 6 months, 6 months to a year. Lean on what you know about your new self. Lean on all these battles you've been through and what they've taught you about what you value, who you are, what you care about, and carry that understanding through all the challenges of the week. It's going to be a busy week, but it's going to be a great one. I mean, there's great victory possible in this week if you just trust yourself a little bit. So I pulled an oracle card. This is from Colette Baron Reid's The Enchanted Map. And here we go. Ghostlands. Okay, so when I see ghostlands, this is a very forbidding card, as you can see. It's, sorry for the glare here. It's number 17, which would be the star card in if this were a traditional tarot deck, but this is Ghostlands. And you see how this is frozen, and we have sort of what looks like a clock of the wheel of the year with some zodiac symbols on it. So I think what this is saying is you can't freeze time. If you try to freeze time or stick in the past, you're going to be stagnant. Nothing is going to grow. I mean, could there possibly be, two more opposite cards? And here's the choice that you have, right? You can try to stick in the past with what you know and what you've done, and you're going to be frozen in ice like a woolly mammoth. Or you can go with the abundance, even if it's confusing and kind of scary at times. Go with the abundance and let it bloom. So I think that's what the message is for the week. It should be busy, it should be exciting, but it's going to be fun. So don't give in to the feeling that you need to try to freeze it or make it stop or slow it down. You can do this. You're cut out for this, and it's going to be great. You are going to surf. There's never a surfer who looks at a wave coming up and goes, oh no, not another wave, right? So take it like a surfer. Don't feel like you're being buried under. Look at it as the next great thing, the next rainbow, the next surprise, the next gorgeous flower. That's the way to think about it this week. So thanks very much for joining me, and I hope you have a great one, and let me know if you do, and talk to you soon. Oh yeah, and rock on with your bad selves.